Aha, there we go. Right, I do believe I am up and running on both, finally. So I rather knew with Mars and Mercury retrograde that tonight would be a challenge. And it is really disappointing me that I can't actually see any of your comments. I'm going to have to figure out the technology for this. But now let me start shuffling for Gemini and see what we can get going on here. So, pretty obviously these cards wanted to jump out. So if I bring up the big screen, you can see that we've started with Anubis as one of the archontic masks that are working against you, and Thor with a call to action. Now in the collective reading, that call to action was a fake one, but for you, Gemini, it's almost like there's some form of call that will come through that you would immediately go, oh, no, I can't do that. And because you're wanting to defend something, but these cards are suggesting that actually maybe you should go for it. Maybe you really, really should go for it. And don't worry too much about defending what you believe is precious to you. So we have Odysseus with the journey and Gaia the mother. So again, there's that nurturing aspect. So this is, excuse me, something new that this call to action that is coming along. And immediately gives you a response of, oh, I'm not sure if I really want to do that. I'm not sure how much I want to even go anywhere near this. So we have Pele with purpose. Let me double screen. I always feel more comfortable there. I always think people will get bored just looking at the blank tablecloth. Well, not so blank now, but... So we have now Persephone with cycles as the archontic force working against you, and Pele with purpose as the force that is working for you. And the cards are really... Either there is something wrong with my hands tonight, or they are jumping like mad tonight. Right, that one wants to come out. So we have Eris with strife. Well, leading up to Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the lockdowns. Apparently we're having a lockdown announced tonight. Before I was coming online, I was waiting for Boris to come talk to us, but of course he was an hour late at least. I gave up at 6 o'clock because I said I needed to be on here. Oh, and on that note, my apologies to any of my American viewers, because I forgot that whereas we've gone back the hour, you haven't yet. So I advertised the wrong time. So hey-ho. And then the link that I sent out, apparently, started returning a 404 not found. So this is a blessed attempt this evening. So... now this is interesting. So we have, as the archons pretending to be gods, the archontic masks working against you, Anubis with protection, almost like you're being held back from some form of transformation. Odysseus with the journey, Persephone with cycles, Eris with strife, and Baba Yaga with loss. Now what that immediately is suggesting to me that, as I say, there's some call to action here with Thor that makes you think, now, I don't want to do that because it's risking too much. I'm okay on the journey that I am on because this is a path that I've set for a while. But there is something that is requiring to be nurtured here. There is something with Gaia. It's almost this is an ideal time to change the path that you're on. Do you constantly be wanting to, did I say that right? Are you constantly wanting to repeat cycles that you have encountered before, where you know that they are likely to lead to conflict, and there is a point where everybody's going to end up being a loser anyway? And I feel like if you keep doing the same old, then there is something that you will end up losing, and you will also end up losing this new opportunity, this new chance that's coming up. Because having Gaia here, I'm really feeling warm from her. And normally, Gaia here and Gaia here. Gaia the mother here, and Gaia with manifestation here. So I think they're hammering the point home somewhat. And what Chang'e is telling me is that, there's two ways. Chang'e is talking about healthy goal setting on one level, but on another level, she's also talking about releasing an obsession, releasing a sense of how things are supposed to be done, which is what I was, that Anubis, where I feel like you going, oh no, but I need to protect everything. And you're rejecting the transformation. You're rejecting the chance of growth. Remember, Anubis is a death god. But in your support here, you have, well, two gods, one god, Gaia, twice, that is life itself. And then we have Pele with purpose, again a beautiful, vibrant goddess. Thor, nobody could accuse him of not living his life, despite what they did in the last Avengers movie. Thor is again that vibrant, virile, energetic force that cannot be argued with. And I feel that that energetic force is not something that you have to succumb to, but something that you have to unleash. Let's see what the tarot have got to say about it. Yeah, so the protection is suggesting, you know, wait around, because you can get to a better place with what it is that you're doing. Your work is going to be recognized. You just need to plan and to be able to get through the conflict that you know is coming. But I almost feel that since you know that there is a conflict coming, you can turn around and go, you know what? I don't want to play. I don't want to do it. I don't want to get involved. Why should I waste my time in this strife, in this trying to dance to the beat of someone else's drum? Now, the thing is with these gods that play readings, they are the god archetypes, and so they are by their very nature dramatic. You know, this is why I love them. They are very much right, this call to action that gives you a sense of, this call to action that you receive, it gives you anxiety. There's that feeling of, oh, I don't want to do that. But what this is saying here, Queen of Cups with the Gaia here, Nine of Wands with Gaia here, that sense of anxiety, that drive to protection that somebody else is going to certainly try to, what's the word, exacerbate or play upon. They're going to try and increase that anxiety so that you work defensively and don't take whatever this path or chance is. But it's a challenge that I feel with the two Gaia cards as well. It's a challenge that has been around for a while, and isn't it about time that you did take it? Let go of whatever obsession is holding you in place, that is holding you in these old cycles, because the same again is, one, not good, and 2, not going to happen anyway because of some incoming conflict, that you are led to believe that you can plan and insure around, and no, I almost want to say, give up already. Let it be, let it drop, give up already. Because we have finally with Chang'e and that releasing of obsessions, and bear in mind that she ended up, because of her obsessions, exiled on the moon. So she is there with the Ace of Cups. So there is love that is occurring in that situation, or there is a passionate dream, a passionate goal, a passionate aim to go forward with. And so really, Gemini, that's an excellent reading. So I'll press stop for the Gemini reading, and for those of you with me on the live stream, you will just have to put up while I suddenly tidy up all of the cards. And group my housemate, I think he's hiding around the corner. All right, you can come in. You can't see anybody. I have no idea how to see their comments. So next we will be looking at Cancer with the 11th house. There's been a few technical glitches, to put it mildly. Yeah. But we're getting there. So then, Cancer, this is for the full moon in your 11th house. Now, your 11th house is where the cosmos grants wishes, luck, friends, and social occasions. So, all in all, I always like a bit of 11th house activity. So if you think about it, it's actually in your 11th and your 5th house all at the same time. Because whereas the moon is in your 11th, the sun is in your 5th house. So let's see what God forces are working against you and are working for you. Okay, so we have Garuda with travel. And all with focus. Now this time, this is the first time for this moon that all has turned up as an ally rather than an archon using his face to try and distract you. One thing with Garuda, I mean, he's always in these decks as travel. One thing with Garuda is he was intensely loyal to Lord Indra, who gave him the ability to basically cure his wife of poison. And because Indra gave Garuda dispensation to take from heaven whatever it was, some ambrosia style nectar, I think, and cure his wife of the poison that she had suffered, Garuda went, okay, well then I will act as your steed for the rest of my natural life, and being a god, that's a long time. So I'm wondering whether the pull for travel is the negative influence here, or whether it could be loyalty to something or someone that it is time for you to set to one side. So we now have working against you Hathor, and working for you Nuit with expansiveness. This is quite nice. Actually, I always like it when Nuit or Night turns up. So Chiron displaying his wounds here and not in his teacher's role. Oh, right, that one wanted to come out. And then Metis, goddess of wisdom, and I always think of her, and this is not true, I know it's wrong, but I always think of Metis as one of the goddesses of justice. I'm sure it's wrong, which is here as wisdom. There's a time of creation. There's a time of creation which is mainly home-based, with Hestia here. But what I'm thinking more is it's not just Hestia's dominion over the hearth, dominion over the home, but it is Hestia's fire, Hestia's flame. And whenever she turns up, I cannot escape the fact that I always think of Wonder Woman's lasso, because Hestia's girdle, or Hestia's rope, forms Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. So there has to be a focus on some fire that is inside of you that has room to grow, room to be creative, and room for you now to step into a role. We have Fortuna with Fate here, to step into a role. I'll put the right camera on. I hope you can see them, because as I say, they are completely pixelated for me. But we have a to step into a role that is something that really lights your fire. That's one way that I want to right, I get what that was saying. So with Garuda we have the star, with Bellerophon, who speaks of humility. Now this is the other reason why I'm talking of that goal that lights your fire. One of the archontic masks here is Bellerophon, who is here in the form of humility. It's almost like you are being encouraged to go, oh no, I couldn't possibly. You know, it's because I'm not that good, I'm not that powerful, I'm not that bright, I'm not that intelligent, I'm not that skilled, I'm not that whatever is needed. When Hestia's energies here is saying, don't talk nonsense. Absolutely do not talk nonsense. Because I don't think you need to be worried about the judgments of others, because I also feel that, okay, that you might be being encouraged in that way because they haven't made the effort that you are prepared to. If you keep your focus, Six of Swords here, you're aiming to get to a better place. But you do have to go through the fear, Nine of Swords, to transform yourself, number 9 being a rebirth number, to be able to jump out, Page of Wands here, into a whole new creative space. With Metis and Fortuna at the end here. Now this is beautiful. Now in this particular deck, we're finishing with the Five of Swords, but it's surrounded by a butterfly and fairies. I've got the Mothra theme tune going through my head now. I've seen this, but 5 is the number of man and 5 is the number of magic. It may well be the number of challenge. Yep, it's that's why 5 of Wands is heated debate and 5 of Swords is conflict. It is a number of challenge. It is there to make you grow, and it is your fate here to grow, not to be swept off your feet by other people's judgments. With 8 of Wands here with Ma'at. Because these judgments, I don't think they are based on... I don't think they're based on a solid foundation. It's almost like someone's offering you some form of... Someone is offering you some form of destination with Garuda with travel and the Chariot card here with Hathor and contentment. So someone's offering you a sort of... come this way, come this way. It would be so lovely. It would be so happy. But this is at odds to a goal that you are trying to achieve, or a goal that you have set your focus on. So I do feel that it's an offer that you would have to turn down if you are to focus on what your end goal is. Now that's going to be different for everybody that watches this. So it's going to be, I'm hoping that, I mean, if you're a Cancer out there without a goal, still be very, very careful of the offers that come to you, because they may sound great, but I'm not sure they're coming from a good place. And now that is not to say that I don't think they are well-meaning. They are indeed very well-meaning, because I don't detect any malice from this top row, apart from obviously it's the Archons and they want to keep us in misery. But what I do feel is that this invitation, whatever it may be, is coming from a wounded place, and therefore is not necessarily in your best interests, because it is coming from that wounded place rather than coming from just a healthy, wholesome place, rather than it's running contrary to whatever your dream here is looking to be. So hopefully you have that dream, you've got plenty of challenges, and you know you have a huge amount, let's put it that way, a huge amount of fear to challenge and break through. But there's no point not doing it, because it is something that is going to come around to you. And this inspiration of, oh, come this way. So whether this is an offer to a new job, to a new company, to a new home, a new social circle, it's feeling a little bit cold and distant, and it's not material enough. It is simply wishing upon a star and hoping for the best, promising contentment but dragging you away from it all at the same time. Your contentment is diving into that fear and following the fire, whatever that fire is inside of you, because you will get very good results with this neat and expansiveness card. And yeah, you're going into something as a beginner. That's fine. No wonder you're nervous, but that's fine, because you have plenty of options that you have control over of how you enter as a beginner. And there is certainly the other thing with the number 5 is the idea of the 5 elements, ether being the 5th element, and ether being spirit working with the 4 material elements. So that's a lovely reading there, Cancer. So let me just press stop again. Okay, so let's get all these cards tidied up, and I see one of my my other candle has died now, so you'll have to excuse me while I do a little bit of candle maintenance in a second. So Cancer, so the next one will be Leo in the 10th house. Yep, Leo in the 10th house. Well, as I was saying, with Cancer was the 11th and the 5th. So Leo will be 10th and the 4th. Let's just get this up and running. So 4th house is all about home, but 10th house is all about the outside world. So there may well be a whole work-life balance thing coming in on this reading. Let's find out. So while I've got the space, let's give these a really good shuffle. 1, 2, 3. And 1 for luck. Let's build a foundation. 4th house. 4 shuffles. So, press record again for Leo with the full moon in your 10th house. And obviously this means the sun is in your 4th house. So, let's see. Firstly, give me what God force is working against Leo at this time. Oh, we have Garuda again. How bizarre! He's a popular mask for the Archons tonight. Is our Garuda, and working okay. Ooh, that's interesting. So we have Eros with love as the god force supporting you. Now, if you look into one of the Greek creation myths, Eros is intrinsic with the creation of the universe. So he is not just the child of Aphrodite, who is also sort of spawned by the universe. I mean, if I remember correctly, one of the origins of Aphrodite is that she was birthed from the sea, because when Kronos castrated his father Uranus, then some blood and other liquids dropped upon the earth or rather dropped upon the oceans, and this gave birth to Aphrodite. Now, she is recognized as the mother of Eros in some mythologies, but it's either the cosmic egg mythology or the universe was born out of the goddess Nyx mythology, where Eros played a pivotal role. And it's been quite some time since I've read them, so I can't quite remember. So we then have, sticking with the theme of the Titans, our next archontic mask is Helios with illumination. So whenever it appears in the archontic row, those forces that are trying to press down upon you, it indicates to me that you end up knowing about something that either you don't need to, you don't want to, or it takes you off balance, or it's just a pile of balderdash anyway. And it's information that, also fascinating. It's obviously secrets. It's obviously deep with Pluton from the underworld here. But with this Gaia card, with creation, it is fake. It's not right. It's not real. Now, as I recall, Leo, from the readings that I've done for you recently, for whoever Leos are watching, then you've had a bit of a rough time this year. But then again, everybody's had a bit of a rough time. Yeah, here again, look. We have Pythia with knowledge as one of the archontic masks. So there's this theme of information being given to you, appearing like it's going to be a great explanation. But I'm not sure it is such a great explanation. I think it seems fake. It seems like you are willing to accept it out of loyalty, or you are called to accept it out of loyalty. But let's face it, you have options about where you want to put your loyalty. Okay, these wanted to come out. So let's have a look. Look, it's the same cards again. And you saw me shuffle these. Yep. And... oh, 4 of Wands. First time that one's turned up. So... this is bizarre, but there's definitely themes going on tonight. Right, so this is hinting to me, let's put these the right way around, that, yeah, you're being called to be loyal to somebody who is giving you some information. This seems to be an ongoing theme tonight. I often find with these full moon readings or the new moons, whenever I work my way through the zodiac, it's almost like you can see a story develop from sign to sign to sign, as each sign is at a different point of the story. And as the readings proceed through the zodiac, so the story proceeds. But there's an element of secrets and new dreams that are being unveiled to you when I'm not sure that any information that makes you think of being defensive, of, oh my god, I've got to change everything around to take care of this new information. Well, to a point, yes, but not the way that you think. We have Apollo here with clarity, clarified by the Death card. So yes, you have to change your opinions, thinking, approach, but not, how can I put it, not due to the content of the information, but due to the very fact that this information exists and was delivered to you. So what the information is almost irrelevant, because it's there to throw you off path. Whether it's real or not real, whether it is true or whether it is nonsense. And my money's on nonsense. Certainly with the Seven of Cups there, if you think that's a card of confusion as well as options. And you don't want to end up on a basis of this nonsense, making a commitment to something because I know and I must be committed to this. But no, if you take a step back, it's almost like you need to, the very fact that this information has come to you means, yes, you need to change something. But I think the change something is to go, yep, no more. No more, thank you. I do not want to have any idea, any more knowledge. It is nonsense. I've got my own things to be getting on with. I have my own strength to be moving forward. I need to require balance in my own life. There's an emphasis here about choosing love over loyalty, which can translate into the real world as choosing those that you love over those that you are simply loyal to because you have been loyal to them. But if you do not love them, small L, not big L, I'm not talking about in a relationship, I'm just talking about in general. But if they're not the ones that love you and you love them, then have some balance and bear in mind that whatever you want to do is going to affect those that you love. And this information is too disruptive, especially since it seems negative. I'm not saying it's untrue, but I'm also not convinced that it is true. It's almost like you have information, but you've only got the half of it. So you've got a really biased viewpoint and can go off and make a wild judgment about your future plans on the basis of this information when you've only got half the story, or it's wrong, or it's something that has just bubbled up from the underworld and someone with spite in their heart has put this information forward. But if you was to stand back from reacting to whatever this information is, you may find that over time, what trickery has happened will become apparent and will enable you to walk away from it. You can be receptive and allow the blessings to come to you by changing and saying, no more. If I do anything about this information, which I'm not sure about whether it's accurate or not, then that's throwing me off balance. That's jeopardizing that which I love. And so if it's jeopardizing, the only action you want to take is go, no more, thank you. I would even say that la 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 la, not listening, is a respectable way of dealing with this on this. But change is called for. But the very fact that whoever is giving this information to you, or the fact that this information exists, is something that makes you go, yeah, I've got to change. And no, I'm not going to change to nearly complete something. I'm not going to make a commitment to something on the basis of this information. I'm going to go away and do something completely and totally different. That's it. I've had enough of it now. So that, I think, is quite succinct advice for you, Leo. But I hope this means that if you manage to take that advice on board, that some of your future readings might be a bit nicer than the ones you've had this year. I mean, I admit I'm not a reader that goes, oh, everything's going to be lovely and everything's going to be sunshines and fairies, but I think you could do with some sunshine and fairies, Leo, and that's probably a good time to stop recording the Leo bit. So let me clear these cards up. And so next, of course, will be Virgo. And Virgo, this will be your 9th house. Let me just double check from my notes that I've still got these in sync, because I'm sure Virgo will be the 9th house. Of course, that's the wrong page of notes. 9th house of Virgo is Taurus, yes. So this is, of course, it's your academic house, isn't it? It's the one where you go to university, or you experience foreign lands, or you go astral projecting and have other cultural experiences, mind expanding experiences, ones where you really get to learn something other than what you've been dealing with before. Now I'm going to change the tarot deck now, because, and you watch, I bet the same cards will come out again from a completely different deck. So this time with it being Halloween, I'm going to go for the Spellcaster's Tarot, which is actually one of my favourite tarots, if I can get in the box. Right, there's not a... no, right. So here we go, a reading for Virgo. So Virgo, this full moon is occurring in your 9th house. So that'll be your 9th and your 3rd. Yeah, that's right. The 9th and your 3rd house. So your house of education, your house of more experiences, or the cultural experiences, as I was just saying. Let's have a shuffle of these, and then we'll get your God cards out. Right, so the top row, as I've said for each reading before, I suppose I should change the camera so you can see what I lay on the table. The top row is the Archontic masks, where the Archons pretend to be the gods and pretend to work their authority over us so that it keeps us, well, suppressed, away from the divine, away from our higher purpose. The bottom row, okay, that one wants to come out, which is here. That's an interesting pairing. Represents the true gods, the pagan gods, the ones that already exist within the divine and want us to join them, or don't give a hoot one way or another, because when all said and done, the pagan gods are, depending on who they are, they can very often be just a force of nature. The wind doesn't really care whether you fall over or whether you stand up. The wind just wants to blow. So, the first pairing we have is Achilles with confidence as... I get it. Is Achilles with confidence as the Archontic mask. And then we have Set with chaos. And I'm almost feeling like you... Okay. There's something arises that you are required to deal with. And there's a feeling of, if you don't deal with it, things get beyond control. And if you, but you feel quite confident in dealing with it. And I would say that, you know what? Let things get beyond control. Because there is a greater purpose here. So a little bit of chaos does you good. It's... So we have, on the Archons row, Achilles with confidence, Hebe with play, Joan d'Arc, or Joan of Arc, obviously, with faith, Epimetheus with carelessness, and Isis with resurrection. Now, since Isis is turning up in the Archon row, I won't be drawing a card for her from the Isis Oracle, if I can remember where I put it. Changi again. You have all just seen me shuffle all these cards, haven't you? She is happy to come out every night. Again, there's this message of releasing some obsession. So, right. So, there's something that you are called to face, because if you do not face it, and you feel quite confident in facing it, but if you do not face it, you feel like things may go to hell in a handbasket. But the truth is that a little bit of chaos will do you good. It gets you to a better place. It's getting you into union with some aspect of yourself or some other sacred union here. That in the long term will profit you more. Because also I feel that maybe having confidence that, oh yeah, I can deal with this, I can sort this, you could also end up becoming a bit of a cropper. Now, on your side, the gods that are trying to lift you, we have Set with chaos. That's that chaos that I keep telling you about. And that is clarified here by the King of Cups. So, whereas you have confidence in dealing with it, try to have the confidence of, excuse me, of standing back and watching it unfold. Because that King of Cups is telling me that, you know, however it works out, you will be okay with the result. And then that is where the Chariot kicks in here, taking you to this form of union with something. Now, like I say, one, this could be something inside of you, this could be something or someone outside of you. So it could be a love thing, it could be a going into a new business environment, going into a new job environment, going into a new learning environment, because again, this is your 9th house. But that call of difference, of different things of the 9th house is definitely prevalent in this bottom row. So as I say, Set with chaos, Psyche with sacred union, Athena with strategy, bear in mind that's a goddess of wisdom and war, and then Artemis, goddess of light, and Chang'e, who is a goddess who learned too late that having an obsession doesn't always help, and she ended up exiled on the moon. And if you've been with the live stream so far, then you are well aware of what happened to Chang'e, because we've discussed it already. So there is some event that occurs that you are encouraged to go on, you can deal with that. And I think what you need to do is not deal with it and is stand back and let the dust settle, because you could end up with Ten of Swords here. You could end up finishing something that you maybe don't want to finish, or you could end up, I think that you've been given this confidence by somebody going, yeah, well, we don't know what's going on, but you go sort this out. And it's like, yeah, okay, I can sort this out. And the best way to sort it out is to sit back and do nothing, because it is either confusion that has got someone to push you in that direction, or a rather malicious playfulness. But I do want to suggest that with the Ace of Pentacles here with Athena, through some form of confrontation, you are going to somewhere new, and you're going to a good new place, rather than keeping on building and keeping on doing the same of, it's like the Three Little Pigs. And the first two pigs both had such faith in their house of straw and their house of wood. I think that's got it right, because it was straw, wood, brick, wasn't it? The house of straw or the house of wood, that it would withstand. What was I saying? The wind of the wolves blow it down. And it didn't. And so this is almost saying to me, you know, it's okay to, one, stay out of the wind, or go into the wind, fine, get bowled over by it, and that is okay, because it's leading you to a better place. Ace of Pentacles here. And the idea that you are wanting to bring something back into being, you haven't got the support for it. Because whoever is around is not, they're not paying attention. They're too strict. They're too stubborn. So one person is going, yeah, you sort it out. And you are being given a false confidence to go, yeah, I can do this. And the fact is that, no, you can't, because it's bigger than you thought. A lot bigger than you thought. So, again, we've got a 5 with Chang'e. This is something that there may well be some very heated debate about. But there is a warning that you could be working with a goal or being manipulated here by this he being this playful, yeah, go on, you sort it out. Influence, that you are being manipulated to your own cost. Whereas if you take the option of standing back, yeah, progress will be slow afterwards, but it will be sure and it will be true and it will be accurate, and you will achieve your goal because you have already created that new start by standing back and letting the wind blow everything down. And then you go, okay, and now I can see what's over there. So do you know what? I'm going to head over there. I hope that makes sense for you, Virgo. There's very little more that I can add to that. Just that you want a new start in your more grounded, more material things, not necessarily in your action. If you are being called to action, because of some form of crisis, then your best foot forward is to not put a foot forward at all and just go, no, you know what? I'll wait this one out. Okay, Virgo. Right. So that's the Virgo one recorded. So Virgo. So next, Libra with the 8th house, if I remember correctly. This transformational area of your life is about shared resources and intense emotions. Now, isn't the 8th house the one of secret enemies as well? But I love the symbolism of the 8th house because there's a wonderful depth and mysticism to it. And I can't go into much more detail than that because I'm still learning my way through the houses specifically. It will take me quite some time to really get the true vibe of them. So I've got an idea of what they are in my head. Whether that idea is correct or whether I will develop a deeper understanding. Well, I will be developing a deeper understanding because I'm putting my attention there. But whether my understanding currently is as accurate as that deeper understanding, there's another question. So let's just shuffle these. Oh, and there's a good sign. Something tells me that my mobile phone really does not want to play tonight. Let's see if I can just get that reconnected. No, mobile devices, there we go. Let's see if I can get this connected. I've not disappeared anywhere, people. I'm just trying to get these to work again. Doesn't look like they want to, does it? Okay, so while that's trying to reconnect, which I think normally when my phone gives up the ghost, that's it for the day. So I have got through, let me see, Virgo, so that's, I've got through the first 6 houses. I will do Libra because I said that I would. So here we go. So the full moon for Libra in the 8th house. So this transformational area of your life, shared resources, intense emotions, mysticism and spirituality. I mean, I say mysticism and spirituality. You can assign mysticism and spirituality to aspects of the 8th house, aspects of the 9th house. If you're counting like astral projection as a thing. Or aspects of the 12th house, because it is that dark, unseen place of endings. Right, so it doesn't look like my phone is going to reconnect. So I will do this one last reading, and then I think I will have to video the rest of them tomorrow morning. When my tech decides to work for me again. I think, to be honest, I may use the live streams for more discussion type videos than actually doing the tarot readings on them, or at least not huge big blocks of tarot readings, because since I'm using so many decks, this just does feel clumsy. So I may stick to pre-packaged. Yes, let's call them pre-packaged. Yeah, I may stick to pre-packaged readings where I can deal with all the tech nightmares. Okay, so we have how many there? Because also, there's not a lot of point in doing a reading if you can't see the cards. And let me just check that I am still Libra in the 8th house. Yep. And so now this is my final deck, the Dark Goddess Oracle. So if you're watching and you've just tuned in, we are using the Gods and Titans Oracle, the Mythic Oracle, Goddesses and Sirens Oracle, Greek mythology reading cards, and then this final deck is the Dark Goddess Oracle. So we have, as the archontic masks that are working against you, Libra, we have Jade Emperor, strange noise there, we have the Jade Emperor, we have Hermes with messages, we have Sirens with temptation, we have Alcmene with unfairness, and Ceridwen with inspiration. Now, working on your side, we have Osiris with renewal, Orpheus with faith, Amaterasu with self-esteem, Pluton with the underworld, and Pele finally, once again, but a different deck this time, with transformation. Now, let me just get some water. So, looks like there's a chance to, to work with either an established structure or just go, right, scratch it. We will do it all over. We will start from scratch, rebuild again. And I do get that feeling of rebuild with Osiris. If you think about the story of Isis and Osiris, Set chopped him up. Isis rebuilt him bit by bit after going on a quest to find every part of him, apart from one. Which, of course, this is a family channel, so we won't discuss that bit. So there's that sense of rebuilding, but rebuilding with a new structure, with a new faith, a new goal, because you are wanting to avoid former pitfalls. You are wanting to avoid enemies and hazards. And it also might be that you are wanting to rebuild something up with less. Now, when I say less, I mean less, because less to build with means less that can break and less that can go wrong. So keep it simple. That's the phrase that I'm looking for. Keep it simple. Have faith that this new simple way of going, because it's almost like you are being called to some form of transformation, and by information that comes to you, and it's a transformation that you don't feel that comfortable about, I think would be a good way to put it. Whereas having faith on, literally having faith on my will be done. And when I say my, I mean yours, obviously. Because with the right amount of confidence and balance, this lesser amount of resources or lesser amount of moving parts is something that works in your favor. And it's almost like there's so many changes going on around in the outside world that the more moving parts is the more things that can get restricted by others, and the more that you get told one thing or another, chasing after some form of new and more complex idea, creates something that actually ends up limiting you and halting you. So Amaterasu, clarified by temperance, tells me that also by having that more simple environment, you are able to come out of your cave and shine more. Because, yeah, there are some secrets of the underworld, or some form of riches, that if you have something going on around you that's too complex, those riches, those resources, that bonus that is coming your way can slowly be whittled away. But if you remain alert to it, and again, there's this sense of, with this particular Five of Swords, there's almost a sense of one being beyond the wall, to use a Game of Thrones image, but to a returning to nature. So with this one guy defending his campfire, you probably can't see them on the camera, there's 5 wolves in the background. Now those wolves, on another deck of mine, not that I can tell you what it is, but those wolves are his friends, his allies, his pack. And I think on the 4 of Swords, his wolves are standing guard over him here. So keep it simple and you won't have resources drained from you. You are working towards your own transformation at the very end. But what is interesting is this particular Page of Cups. Now this is a selfish Page of Cups, this one. And oh, I get it. It is a selfish Page of Cups, but it's almost saying you will have the last laugh by keeping it simple, by having this new start that has less resources, this new start that has less moving parts, less things that can get damaged, less complication, less chance, devil card here, of you getting hamstrung, of you being limited, of you being backed into a corner. So don't necessarily believe. There's a lot in all of these readings this time about not believing the nonsense that you're told. And here we have Ceridwen with inspiration, but on the archontic side. So the inspiration that she is delivering, 1, it's not Ceridwen, and 2, the inspiration is a trap. So there's very much a going, no, I'm going to do it simpler. I do not need the complexity and hierarchy that is needed, that I am being asked to commit to, and yet information is telling me how I'm supposed to transform, and in order to encompass all of this. But it's a recognition that it's not just my want, it's somebody else's want. And what I am doing, if you was to follow that organisational structure, it's unfair. It's unfair to you and it's unfair to others. And when that unfairness hits, it will be like that, without a shadow of a doubt. Whereas if you go for that renewal of the more simpler time, then have some faith for a while. But it will allow you to manifest and also have balance, having faith to have the balance, allowing yourself to shine where you don't really need a huge amount to. With this Pluton card, there is a real sense of some form of, well, buried treasure, you know, whether it's an emotional realization or whether it's actual cold hard cash or resources. But it's quite possible that resources are an element, because here you're being told to keep it simple, less moving parts, less things to get damaged. And then here there is a wealth that could very easily be drawn from you and drained from you in a way that traps you if you're following some shiny new idea. Whereas the whole point of setting on this path for you is a form of transformation where you have the last laugh. That's you being that selfish page of cups where you're drinking from the cup and going, nah. Okay, Libra, so I know doing a Bart Simpson impression is not necessarily in your repertoire traditionally, but I think there's an element of victory can come your way by taking the path with the least amount of resources, and more to the point, the least amount of moving parts. Because what I want to say with the resources is the less you have, the less that can be taken from you. But the more that you have, the more you would be a target. So you definitely can make the less into more, and you will be surprised where that more comes from. Okay, so with the now death of my mobile phone, I'm going to call an end to tonight's live stream, and at least I know now that I can do it. And now I think the next one will probably happen once Mercury and Mars go direct, and there's not going to be so many technical issues. But at least I know what I'm doing now. Hey, so happy Halloween, everybody. I'm going to probably go and do some Halloween things now. Okay, see you later. Cheers.